Madeline and trainer Andrew Andonian. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bart.
Hello.
Yeah, and thanks for taking time out of what I'm guessing is a super busy time, getting ready for back to school.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys, it's sports physical time.
Yep.
You guys been doing those?
Yeah. So we just wrapped up sports physicals on like our community outreach piece. We did just about 700 this year, which was quite a bit, a little bit more than last year.
Mm-hmm.
So so you can still get your physical. Just come by one of our like after hours clinics or give us a call and we'll help you out.
Now, it's been a long time since I had a sports physical. Do you still ask the boys to cough?
Great question.
No, we don't do that anymore?
No, I mean, I think that's better served for like a well visit with their primary pediatrician, but obviously if there's a concern, like we're happy to kind of take a look.
So what are you looking for? Well, I guess you want to find any problems, right?
Yeah, so specifically, sports physicals are not meant to exclude people. So your main goal is to identify any risk factors that may need further workup or attention. So especially adolescents are generally healthy, not going to go to the doctor a lot. So, but things change as you get older. So if you can identify some cardiac risk factors or even vision, we could help get them, treatment or further workup. So,
should officials go through a sports physical?
That'd be a good idea.
Not with us, I think.
No,
Yeah.
but they do. I mean, they're working hard. They're out there, burning a lot of calories and sweating just like the athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious, if I was going to be in medicine, I think, sports medicine, that would be very attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, what was it about sports medicine that got you interested?
So I think it's just kind of the whole combination of everything. I get to work with my hands as an athletic trainer. I enjoy like strength and conditioning, fitness, nutrition. It's in the medical field, which is something that I wanted, and I get to deal with athletes and sports on a regular basis.
Were you an athlete at
I was, yep.
Columbia?
Columbia, yep, and then at Adrian College.
Adrian, what'd you do in Adrian?
Ran track and field.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what about you, Dr. Joe?
I mean, everything Andrew said was relevant to me. Is love being around sports, and I grew up in a small town, and we didn't have a lot of we didn't have athletic trainers or team docs or anything like that. So for me, it's like giving back to the community, something I didn't have as far as a resource, which is good access to care in sports medicine. So that's what I would love about my job.
JTV Sports is bumping shoulders with you guys on the sidelines at the games. You're at just about every area of school, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
sometimes there's like 4 or 5 of you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on what's going on, if it's like a tournament, the MHSA tournament, where there might be multiple schools there, that time of year, things are slowing down for us at the school. So they like to go and support their team kind of in the playoffs.
This time of year, there are, especially with football and contact sports, I can think of 2 areas that have always been a big concern. One is heat and hydration.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some hot weather, and we're going to have some more hot weather. What are how can athletes protect themselves from heat-related health issues?
Yeah, so I think the best protection kind of starts with preparedness, and that goes with your medical team, your athletic trainer, your coaches, your athletic director, and just having a plan. So if you do have a heat illness or something of that nature, that you have a plan for treatment, because it is a very treatable condition when caught early. And so keeping an eye out on the temperature and the wet bulb and kind of where your risk factors are, and if you can modify practice or go inside or be more shaded, that'd be more ideal in those like higher risk environments. But it's mostly just being, I think, prepared on my side of things, that it's the most important that you know what to do when you recognize it.
And water breaks, somebody needs to take a water break, you just do it.
Yep.
In the old days, there were, coaches that said, not yet. We're not doing the water until we're done with this drill. And I remember in my high school, the football team, a very important part of the team equipment was this big, giant bottle of salt tablets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what was believed to be needed with dehydration. You lost a lot of salt. Old news.
Yep. So it's definitely important to hydrate. Our coaches are great about building that in. They work with us very well. They listen to our advice. So hydrating at practice is important, but making sure you're hydrating before practice, even a couple days before and after practice, that's going to be more important than just hydrating while at practice.
So water, is that the best thing?
Yes, but you also need to make sure that you are getting some sodium and electrolytes, so it's not a bad idea to drink a Gatorade or some type of sports drink, if you are sweating a lot. But I wouldn't solely just be drinking sports drinks. You got to get some water in there.
Yeah, and I think there's so many different sports drinks now that there's one brand that's got the same name. I think it's Prime, and it's marketed as a sports drink, but they've also got a version that's super high caffeine, and parents can mix these up.
Yeah,
I have. So what about the Gatorades and the Powerades and Ghost Hydration? They're designed for athletes. That with water or instead of water, or
I would say that you need to be drinking it with water. If you're having a really hard day where you're sweating a lot, it's good to replenish your electrolytes. So that's when you would supplement in a Gatorade or Powerade, some sort of sports drink like that.
What kind of injuries do we typically see as the fall sports season gets underway?
So yeah, we get this is like our busiest season coming up in the next few weeks. It'll start, we'll start picking up volume, and I think the most we see is we see some head injuries, so like sport-related concussion, a lot of knees and shoulders, and with the higher risk sports like football and soccer kind of starting, we do see these seasons are just a little bit busier. It's just inherent to the sport that they're a little more risky for all types of injuries.
So concussions, there's protocols with that, and that gives you a lot of power. You can pull someone out of a game.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely. Yep. So basically, anytime a player's getting a hit, whether it's contact from player to player to the ground, any whiplash movement, that's our job as athletic trainers, and when we have team docs on the sideline to recognize those things. And the refs are good about that too. If they catch something that might have been on the far side of the field that maybe we didn't, or the athletic trainer on the other side didn't, they can point that out, and that athlete definitely needs to be evaluated to make sure it's safe for them to go back before they're put back in.
Is there a way that an athlete knows that they've had a concussion, or does it have to be independently diagnosed?
I would say it's a combination of both. A lot of times they know if they've been hit hard or they're feeling off or something's wrong. Other times they might not, and that's when you need to be vigilant and make sure you're going out of your way to check on that athlete who might want to push through it or just hasn't recognized that something might be off yet.
Have you ever had a concussion?
I have, back in high school. Yeah.
Did you know it?
Not necessarily, not at the time. It was the lingering symptoms afterwards that kind of cued me into it.
Yeah, and you get your bell rung. You see stars.
Yeah, those are like the old kind of terminology for, just getting your bell rung, when really, a lot of the times those were significant mild traumatic brain injuries or concussions. Like back in when I would play football or whatnot, we would hear that quite often. So I think the research and diagnosis is not perfect. It's not complete yet for concussion. A lot of it's field testing, but it's certainly evolved in the past 20 years or so, and recognition is is certainly improved, across the board. So that's a big part of it, is recognize and can you diagnose, and it's a hard thing. It's not always black and white.
Yeah.
I noticed during the Olympics that trainers, sports physicians, athletic trainers, they were a big part of every athletic team. Did you guys learn anything or observe anything that was interesting as you watched the Olympics?
I mean, the Olympics is a great time. It's a fun time. It's a bummer. It's kind of wrapped up, but I've worked with like Team USA with USA Weightlifting in the past, and my mentor is actually out there in Paris covering. So it was cool kind of seeing him, on TV and doing his thing. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff gets like you don't see, the behind the scenes and what goes on as far as being prepared and what treatments look like and assessing injuries or risks on the fly. But so I don't know if I necessarily learned anything except for it was cool seeing my mentor out there.
Oh, that was neat. And
Yeah.
which, just weightlifting?
Yeah, he was covering weightlifting. So
Because I know you guys have gone down to various competitions, I think Indianapolis for one. And
yeah. So I've covered like the Arnold down in Ohio a few years back. Covered like internationally at some of their events as well. So yeah, it's a good time staying involved in that community and that society that provides like medical coverage for them, and just gets you a little bit more different experience you could bring to your own practice and environment here at home. So.
well, I asked Andrew what he did, in school. Were you an athlete too?
Yeah, I mean, I was a high school athlete, and then in college, just played like the intramurals, but I did football, basketball, baseball. When you're in a small school and you're athletic, you kind of get thrown into every sport. But yeah, so that's what I did, and that's what kind of led me to my passion in medicine. So.
Well, it was noted that you were missing from the Henry Ford team at the Gus Macker this summer.
Yeah, I figured we'd go out on top, and took this year off. So, but no, just battling my own injuries. You get a little older, and one Gus Macker tournament, and you could really, feel like you got hit by a Mack truck for a couple months. Just recovering.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, with the 3 little kids that I have, and just the injuries, and I just don't move like I used to. So I gotta see Andrew over here a few more times. So.
Well, we appreciate what you guys do in the community. Thanks for keeping our student athletes safe and healthy, and thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bart.
From Henry Ford Sports Medicine, Andrew Andonian and Dr. Joseph Medellin.